Welcome back to Fixing My Faith. Today we're going to bring you the latest news on Jehovah's Witnesses. This is the news that you will not find on their website. These are the news reports they don't want to talk about, especially when we look at a news report like them losing in court. So yes, Jehovah's Witnesses have lost another court case regarding blood transfusions. We're going to look at this. This is taking place in Spain. What's the name of the town here? Lleida, right in Spain here, right in this little area. Bring that right down so you can see it. Lleida, right there. Okay. So that's where this is taking place. The news is brought to us from thanks to Watching Watchtower. They gave us a link on this. And we're going to cover it right from the news article, right from Spain. I translated this to English. So most of the words translate okay, but we'll read through this. Now, the doctor is acquitted after Jehovah's Witness accused him of transfusing blood. And him should be a she all the way through the article. The doctor is a she. So maybe that's one of the translations, not sure. The patient alleged a violation of his religious freedom, but the Lleida Court ruled that the former head of the Arnau, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, the emergency department, the hospital, they acted appropriately, the court ruled. And the doctor here, now they're calling her a she, was facing 15 months prison sentence and 2 years of disqualification from the practice. Can you believe that? That was the charge. That was what was going against the doctor for saving this Jehovah's Witness life. So if this doctor would not have saved this Jehovah's Witness could not go to court and sue the court. That's how mad this Jehovah's Witness is, according kind of, but we're going to look at, there's two sides of this, but it's coming off that this Jehovah's Witness is really mad at the courts. This sounds to me like watchtowers in the background of all Jehovah's Witnesses fighting their court cases. HLC is in every hospital. That's Hospital Liaison Committee. Here in Canada, here in the US, all over the world, I'm sure they're putting their people in hospitals to monitor, to make sure that they don't take blood transfusions. That's how bent out of shape they are on this death wish. It is. It's not supported in the Bible. We've done many videos on this. The scriptures do not tell you to sacrifice your life over this blood thing, not to eat blood. And in fact, not eating blood, if you go into Corinthians, Paul said it's a matter of conscience. We've done a lot of videos on this, folks. This is a policy that Jehovah's Witnesses have to make themselves different. You see, if you're a cult and you need to appear different from the world, your members have to feel like they're different because they're special, because they're the only ones that are going to get saved. They have what they call the truth. You see, so this is a Jehovah's Witness mind. But then when it comes right down to it, what is it? Does a Jehovah's Witness want to die for that policy? What do they really believe? What do they really believe? Well, we're going to read through this article and see what they believe. They went to court, this Jehovah's Witness, after the doctor saved his life, so he could go to court and sue the doctor. Well, the Lleida Court of Appeals has upheld the acquittal of the doctor at the Arnau di Vilanova Hospital, who was tried last year for giving 4 blood transfusions to a Jehovah's Witness patient on July 21st of 2016. And folks, that's how long it takes for this stuff to work its way through the courts. Now, the court dismissed the appeal filed by the prosecution and upheld the ruling of the Lleida Criminal Court too in its entirety. And it should be noted that the complainant, who is acting as a private prosecutor, now this is the Jehovah's Witness, this complainant, the private prosecutor. Well, I'm sure Jehovah's Witnesses are in the background there with the lawyers and so forth. Well, they brought the case against the doctor, who was the head of the emergency department, for the crimes. And then this is what they charged the doctor for: crimes of coercion, assault, and bodily harm. That's what they charged the doctor for saving the person's life. Can you believe that? Now, this gets more interesting. He requested that she be sentenced, so he, being the Jehovah's Witness, requested that she, the doctor, be sentenced to 1 year and 3 months in prison. What an odd way of doing it, but that's what they did. 13 months. That's 15 months, 1 year and 3 months. And 2 years of disqualification from prosecution, and $10,000 of their dollars, which is about close to 11,000 US, in compensation for the moral damages caused. Can you believe that, folks? This doctor saved this guy's life, and this is what he's specifically charging the doctor for. Well, the prosecution, the defense, represented by the attorney Carlos Lopez of Simeo Miquel Law Firm and the Catalan Health Institute, that was a long line, I'm sorry. Well, they opposed the appeal, so they opposed the Jehovah's Witness. And the private prosecution, the Jehovah's Witness alleged, this is getting interesting, the Jehovah's Witness alleged, among other things, that the complainant expressed his refusal to undergo the transfusion, that there was a serious violation of his translation during the trial, and that the doctor committed the crime of aggravated coercion for violating the fundamental rights to religious freedom. That sounds like Jehovah's Witness, what they fight. Fundamental rights to religious freedom. This is all over. This is JW Watchtower all over this case. And then it goes on to say violated his moral integrity, saving his life. But anyways, this is what they're charging him, this doctor, with, this she, and engaged in serious conduct. So that's the charge, among others. The court has examined the case. The court dismissed each of the allegations. It recalls that the complaint was conscious. That's the Jehovah's Witness. The Jehovah's Witness was conscious and expressly refused to sign the transfusion refusal. So this Jehovah's Witness, in this particular hospital, your Jehovah's Witness, you have to sign the transmission refusal. They want a signature. That's how serious this is. Of course it's serious. It's your life. So this Jehovah's Witness wouldn't sign it. So at the trial, the Jehovah's Witness, who testified through a French interpreter, said he refused to sign it because he did not have the doctor's trust. And the court also upheld that the doctor's action, given the seriousness of the consequences of refusing the transfusion and the lack of the patient's unequivocal will, the defendant could not be expected to act other than to safeguard the patient's life. And furthermore, it is determined that the patient at no time was subjected to humiliating or degrading treatment, but quite the contrary. They saved the guy's life, right? And having been informed of the seriousness of his condition and the vital need to undergo transfusion, so his conduct does not merit criminal reclamation. The doctor doesn't fit suing the doctor, treat the doctor like a criminal, throwing the doctor in jail with criminals for saving your life, Jehovah's Witness. Well, here's what the Jehovah's Witness said. The complainant said he would rather die than receive a transfusion. You see, that's easy to say, folks, when you're on this side of the fence, when you've made it through it. Now you've got Jehovah's Witness lawyers behind you, and you're fighting the hospital and you're suing the doctor. And you want that doctor to go to jail with other criminals. Well, here's what happened. The indictment occurred on July 21st, 2016, and when the complainant, the Jehovah's Witness, was admitted to the emergency room in the early afternoon due to bleeding requiring a transfusion, excuse me, he was in a semi-conscious state with acute anemia and hypovolemic shock. So, after being diagnosed with gastrointestinal bleeding, the doctors explained the severity of his condition and the need for a blood transfusion, as well as the consequences of not receiving it. You would die, right? You'd lose blood, keep losing blood. So the patient refused due to his religious beliefs. Ultimately, he received 4 transfusions. The complainant, the Jehovah's Witness, stated at the trial that he preferred to die rather than receive the transfusion. That's what he said at the trial. Now, folks, this is what we take home from this whole article is right here. However, the doctor stated that the patient did not sign the refusal form because he was not convinced. So what does that mean, Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, that tells me that this Jehovah's Witness, when it came down to life and death, the HLC could be standing there or not, refused to sign the refusal, where you have to refuse a blood transfusion. He wouldn't sign it. And this doctor stated that this patient did not want to sign it because he was not convinced that he should die. That's what it is. And it says it right here. And because doing so would have meant accepting his death. So this patient, when it came push to shove, the patient wouldn't sign, wouldn't choose death. The patient lived, and then now the Jehovah's Witnesses are behind him suing the courts. So this is what happens, folks, if you're in the Jehovah's Witness religion and it comes to blood. This is a mistranslated thing. It's so clear in the scriptures. The Jews who follow those Jewish commands very seriously about not eating blood. Their meat has to be kosher, properly bled. Jehovah's Witnesses take an ultra-righteous standpoint. No other religion does this in the world. No other religion interprets these scriptures this way. You see, everyone interprets it good health to you. That's what it says right in Acts. If you abstain from fornication, adultery, these kinds of things, abstain from blood, good health to you. That's what it says in the Jehovah's Witness Bible. There's nothing there about dying. It's about health. In this case, the guy couldn't be treated any other way. He came into the emergency. He was bleeding to death through his stomach, and they needed a transfusion to keep him alive and to treat him. And so they obviously kept him alive. The blood's not the medicine. It bought time to deal with the treatment or whatever whatever happened. But when you have the Jehovah's Witness lawyers backing you and you're in court, you're going to say, I want death. I want it to die. That's just so lame of a thing. The complainant said he'd rather die than receive the transfusion. See, what are they dying over? They're dying over the belief in the governing body in 11 men, in their interpretation of the scriptures. And they've missed a whole lot. They know the scriptures, so why did they do this? Why does the Jehovah's Witness governing body do this? Because this is how a cult leader can hold power over its members. The members are different. Okay, well, we're different. We don't take blood transfusions. We don't celebrate Christmas, New Year's, holidays, Mother's Days, Father's Days, Valentine's, Halloween. We don't celebrate any of those holidays that everyone else celebrates. Along with the blood transfusions, we don't do that. That's a no-no. You see, now we're different. We stand out from the world. We don't call our building a church. We call it a kingdom hall because we're different. We want to be different. But you see, folks, Jehovah's Witnesses are going to court and they're claiming to be like clergy. If you ask any Jehovah's Witness out there, are you clergy? Do you consider yourself clergy? What are they going to tell you? You see, they're going to say, well, we're ordained ministers. No, I'm asking you, are you clergy? They're going to say no. But they go to court and they fight the courts and they say, we're fighting based on clergy penitent privileges. You can't have our records here in Canada. That's what they're fighting in Canada. It looks like they want to go to Supreme Court in Canada. They got beat out in both courts. The lower court, the appeals court said, no, you have to give over records. You see, they say no clergy penitent privilege. We have freedom of religion. They hang on that. They want to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. Folks, these are just some of the ways that the Jehovah's Witness leaders, and they go through the courts and fight this tooth and nail because we, the taxpayer, allows this. We allow it by allowing them to be a charity. You see, not all religions have the right to be a charity. In Tokyo right now, they're ordering the Unification Church to be disbanded. They're shutting it down. This is a message to Jehovah's Witnesses. This is what's happening right now in Japan. They're shutting down the Jehovah's Witness churches. What are they turning these churches into? Well, this one is in the USA. This is a palace booking information. This is an old kingdom hall. And they bring them back to life and they use them for other things. And this one is in Washington Boulevard. So it's served as a theater. It's been reborn as the Palace Party and Event Center. This is what it looks like inside now, the old Kingdom Hall. And this is what's happening, folks, all over the world. Jehovah's Witnesses are being challenged. And we read one report. We're just trying to get it. It's through a paywall. But this report saying that the Jehovah's Witness religion has shrunk. It's shrunk now to about 6 million people. I don't have that. I can't give that to you in writing, but this is one of the reports I'm looking for. So if you have that report, and you can send it to us, here's our email address. I'll just get it up on the screen here. It's mail@xjw.tv. And if you have a story or a piece of news you'd like us to deliver, please just send us an email. Well, folks, that brings an end to the program today. And let me see here. Okay, that brings an end to our program today, folks. And like we always say, keep living your life with love. We don't experience all of these hardships that Jehovah's Witnesses experience in the religion. You get out of the religion, you live your life with love. It's really simple. You don't have to deal with any of those things. You know, you make your decisions on your own. You relearn the Bible from scratch if you decide to. And it's a journey. Now, if you want some help, you can join our Discord channel. In our descriptions of this video, there's a link to it, and there's an area that it's a good landing spot. You can meet some people, real ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.